I'm going to tell you something you won't like. Your mind isn't as strong as you think. I know, because a single piece of criticism can crush you, one bad piece of news can break you, and one person can steal your peace. Want to stop being fragile? The Stoics had the exact formula to build a mind that can take the hits, and today you're going to learn it. Building a strong mind isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Because life won't stop hitting you, and if your mind collapses at the first blow, everything else will fall apart too. The Stoics knew this well. True strength isn't in the body, but in the ability to stay calm, to withstand criticism, and to keep your course even when everything around you is falling apart. In this video, you're going to learn how to train your mind so that nothing and no one can ever hurt you again. This isn't about hiding your emotions or turning to stone. It's about learning how to use them wisely, so you stop being a prisoner of fear, doubt, and the opinions of others. Stay with us until the end, because here you're going to learn how to build a mind so strong, nothing can break you. Before we continue, if you feel this content is helping you, subscribe and join as an exclusive member to access content we don't share anywhere else. And tell me in the comments, what do you think truly builds an unbreakable mind? Or if you prefer, declare it loud and clear, Stoic at heart. Today I master my mind. Ready? Let's begin. Now I want you to listen to a story that holds the essence of everything we're going to talk about today. They say genius is born from talent, but the truth is, genius is born from sacrifice. And if anyone understood that firsthand, it was Michelangelo. When he accepted the task of painting the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, he didn't do it with enthusiasm or confidence. He hesitated. He hesitated because he wasn't a painter. He was a sculptor. He hesitated because he knew what lay ahead wasn't just another job, but a mountain that would push him to his very limits. For over 4 years, he worked almost entirely alone, cut off from the outside world, breathing in plaster dust, sleeping on the floor with his body worn out and his mind on the edge of collapse. He went entire days without seeing anyone, his back bent under the weight of the ceiling, and his hands torn from constant effort. There were moments when the silence was so deep that the only thing he could hear was his own breath and his doubts. No one applauded, no one encouraged him, no one understood him. Many even thought he was wasting his time. But every morning, no matter the pain or the exhaustion, Michelangelo climbed back up the scaffolding, because deep down, he knew something very few people are willing to accept. Greatness isn't negotiated, it's earned, and the path to it is rarely filled with company. During those years, there was no audience, no praise, no validation, just him and his work, just him and his purpose, just him and that inner voice reminding him that every sacrifice, every act of discipline, and every sleepless night was part of the price he had to pay for something greater. And when the scaffolding was finally removed and the light touched the finished ceiling for the first time, the world fell silent. They weren't just looking at a monumental fresco. They were witnessing what happens when someone chooses to move forward, even when no one's watching, when they keep going, even when it hurts, when they stay true to a vision, even if no one else understands it. The Sistine Chapel isn't just a work of art. It's living proof that the deepest achievements aren't born from fleeting motivation or the approval of others, but from the courage to stay when quitting would be easier. And in that, Michelangelo was the perfect embodiment of what the Stoics said over and over again. True progress doesn't depend on the crowd that follows you, but on the inner strength that holds you up when you walk alone. Now get ready, because what comes next might change the way you see solitude. Lesson 1. Adversity is your hidden teacher. How many times have you thought life was being unfair to you? You lose a job, a plan falls apart, someone you trusted lets you down, and the first thing that pops into your head is the complaint, "Why me?" And without realizing it, every time you say it, you make yourself a little more fragile. But listen, a Stoic would ask you, what if life isn't punishing you but shaping you? What if every obstacle is a disguised opportunity to make you stronger? Look at the story of Thomas Edison. As a child, his teachers labeled him incapable of learning. His mother, instead of accepting that fate, chose to educate him at home. Edison grew up facing failure after failure. He tried thousands of times before making the light bulb work. Most people would have given up. He didn't. Every failure was one more step in his training. And when he finally succeeded, it wasn't because life made it easy, but because he learned how to endure hardship. The Stoics saw adversity the same way. Marcus Aurelius wrote that a calm mind in the middle of the storm is like a fortress no one can conquer. That idea wasn't poetry, it was survival. He ruled an empire filled with plagues, wars, and betrayals. Could he have drowned in complaints? Absolutely. Did he? No. He turned every blow into a chance to prove who he was. Picture yourself running an obstacle course. At first you stumble, fall, scrape your knees. It's uncomfortable, it hurts. But every time you get up, your muscles grow stronger. Every hurdle you clear builds your endurance. Every fall trains your mind not to quit. The course isn't your enemy, it's your gym. And life works the same way. Adversity doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to mold you. The problem is, sometimes you don't want to hear that. You'd rather see the obstacle as an enemy instead of as a trainer. And that, right there, is the difference between a weak mind and a strong one. Now think about yourself. That breakup that hurt more than you admit. That project you gave your all to that failed. That moment when you thought you couldn't go on. What happened after? You survived. And with distance, you probably learned something you couldn't have discovered in comfort. That you're stronger than you thought. That you could rise even when you had nothing left. That your worth didn't come from what you lost, but from what you built after it. My friend, stop asking, why me? And start asking, what is this here to teach me? That question changes everything. Loss stops being punishment and becomes a lesson in detachment. Criticism stops being an attack and becomes a chance to grow in patience. Failure stops being an ending and becomes a new beginning. Seneca said that a wise person is like a fire. Everything that falls into it becomes fuel. That line holds the secret. What destroys some people strengthens others. Which side do you want to be on? Next time life hits you, laugh at the problem. Yes, laugh. Because if you'll look back on it years from now and see it as something small, why wait that long to take away its power? Ask yourself what you can learn. Turn every difficulty into training. Because every blow you endure adds one more muscle to your character. Think of a boxer. He doesn't become a champion by dodging easy fights. He becomes a champion by getting hit and learning from every round. You are that boxer in your own life. And every time adversity pushes you against the ropes, you have a choice: to give up or to come back stronger. So the next time something falls apart, don't see it as the end. See it as the obstacle course preparing you to go farther. See it as the fire that can either consume or forge you, depending on what you decide. See it as your chance to prove to yourself that you can be stronger than you were yesterday. Because in the end, what matters isn't how many obstacles appear. It's who you become while overcoming them. And there, right in the middle of difficulty, is where the strong mind is born. The one that nothing and no one can ever break again. And if right now you feel like every obstacle is weighing you down more than it should, it might be rooted in something deeper, in what you think every day, in what you let enter your mind without even noticing. That's why, if you really want to keep strengthening your mind, watch the video on screen. It'll show you how your thoughts are shaping who you're becoming, even if you don't see it yet. Lesson 2. Silence is your greatest weapon. Admit it, silence makes you uncomfortable. You avoid it like a giant spider about to trap you in its web. You turn on the TV without watching, play music without listening, fill every space with noise. You're terrified of being alone with your own mind. But what if I told you that the most powerful weapon you have isn't what you say, but what you don't say? Look at great leaders. A true strategist in a meeting isn't the one who talks the most. It's the one who listens the most. They observe, analyze, and let others reveal who they really are. Because words can deceive, but silence always reveals the truth. That's what a strong mind does. It controls itself instead of reacting. Neuroscientist Mariano Sigmund explains that in times of conflict, silence isn't just a pause. It's a tool that can change the course of a conversation. Often, when a discussion escalates, our instinct is to respond quickly, to raise our voice, to defend ourselves without thinking. But according to Sigmund, silence gives you the breathing room to see the full picture before making your move. It's like chess. The most brilliant players don't move their pieces impulsively. They wait, observe, and think several moves ahead. So, my friend, silence doesn't make you weak. It makes you more strategic, more intelligent, stronger. And this isn't new. Seneca knew it centuries ago. He said, "Silence is the refuge of the wise." But it wasn't just theory, he practiced it. He took long moments of reflection before responding, carefully analyzed every word he spoke, and most importantly, understood that not everything deserves an immediate reaction. Imagine this. You're at a gathering with friends, and out of nowhere someone says, "Hey, have you noticed you've put on a few pounds?" And you look exhausted too. In that moment, your mind explodes. You feel the urge to fire back with an equally cutting remark, to hit them where it hurts. But if you pause for just a second, just 1 second, you realize something. It's not worth it. Now let's be clear. Silence doesn't mean letting people walk all over you or accepting injustice. Not at all. But knowing when to speak and when to stay quiet is a skill that will save you from countless problems. So, do you want to train like a warrior and use silence as your greatest weapon? First, practice the emperor's pause. Before responding in any tense situation, take a 3-second pause. No more, no less. Breathe, observe the other person's expression, and think about what your response will create. Will it make you seem wise, or will it only fuel the conflict? Second, in your mind, when someone provokes you, imagine 3 different ways to respond. 1 aggressive, 1 passive-aggressive, and 1 calm. Then choose the one a Stoic sage would choose. You'll find that, more often than not, the best option is to say nothing at all. Silence isn't weakness, it's power. It's the shield against impulsivity, the space where a strong mind is forged. Because while others react without thinking, you decide. So next time you feel the urge to respond without thinking, remember this. The one who masters their silence masters their mind. Lesson 3. Stop thinking about it and just do it. My friend, how many times have you said, "I'll start tomorrow"? That tomorrow that never comes, that turns into weeks, months, even years. Dreams postponed, projects gathering dust in the corners of your mind. It's time to break that cycle. It's time to act. But don't worry, you're not alone in this. Did you know that Victor Hugo, the author of The Hunchback of Notre Dame, struggled with massive procrastination? He had an imminent deadline, but distractions kept getting in the way. So what did he do? He stopped thinking about when to do it. He locked himself in his room and, with no other options, wrote relentlessly until he finished his masterpiece. Was it a drastic measure? Yes. But was it effective? Absolutely. As Seneca put it, while we procrastinate, life speeds on. And it's that simple. Every time you say, "I'll start tomorrow," life keeps moving forward without waiting for you. It doesn't pause to see if you're ready. It doesn't stop until you have more energy or until the perfect moment arrives. Every moment you postpone is a train leaving without you, an opportunity fading away, a time you'll never get back. How many things have you put off for later, only to realize that months or even years had passed? Maybe you wanted to learn a new language, start a business, improve your health, and yet you're still in the same place. The Stoics knew that the key to a strong mind isn't intention, it's action, because life doesn't wait. The question isn't, when will it be the perfect time to start? But rather, how much longer will you keep postponing what you know you need to do? Coach Jimena Miranda puts it clearly. The power of the morning lies in the ability to make quick and conscious decisions. Taking immediate action activates you physically and mentally. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about creating it with every choice you make. So, are you ready to stop overthinking and just do it? First, Use the 5-minute rule. Want to start reading more? Don't overcomplicate it by searching for the perfect book or waiting until you have time. Grab any book and read for 5 minutes. Need to start exercising? Don't force yourself into an hour-long routine. Just put on your sneakers, do 5 squats, and see what happens. Most likely, once you start, momentum will keep you going. Second, make the first step ridiculously easy. Want to write an article? Leave your notebook and pen ready the night before and commit to writing just 1 sentence. Want to eat healthier? Don't try to overhaul your entire diet overnight, just buy a little more fruit and vegetables tomorrow. The key is simply to get started. Third, use the public commitment tactic. Tell someone what you're going to do. Tomorrow, I'm going for a run. Today, I'm starting my project. This month, I'm saving $20. When you say it out loud, your mind registers it as a real commitment. And trust me, no one wants to be the person who talks a lot but never follows through. The key is to begin. Don't wait for perfect conditions, because that ideal moment may never come. Action beats inaction. Every step you take brings you closer to your goals and strengthens your resolve. In the end, it's not about thinking about what you want to do. It's about becoming someone who just does it. Lesson 4. Choose your path. Even if no one approves, Epictetus used to repeat it again and again to his students. No one can decide for you what is good or bad for your life, and he was right. Because the moment you give up your decisions, you give up control over your destiny. And yet, my friend, that's exactly what many of us do without even realizing it. We follow careers we didn't choose, stay in places we don't want to be, and silence dreams that have been knocking from the inside for years, just out of fear of disappointing someone. Let me tell you the story of Mary Anning. She was born in the 19th century in a small coastal village in the south of England. Her family was poor. They barely had enough to live on, and the future ahead of her was as narrow as the streets she grew up in. But Mary had a dream that, in her time, bordered on madness. She wanted to search for fossils. Not for money or fame, but because she had an endless curiosity about the past buried beneath the earth. The problem? Science wasn't a place for women. People mocked her, slammed doors in her face, laughed at her hobby, and even told her she should leave that to the men. But Mary didn't listen. Every morning she went out alone to the cliffs with her tools, while the rest of the town thought she was wasting her time. For months she came back empty-handed, but she didn't quit. And one day, buried under tons of rock, she found something that would change history. Fossilized remains of sea creatures never seen before. She didn't need approval to keep going. She didn't wait for permission to continue. She walked alone for years, enduring ridicule, silence, and indifference. And because of that, she went further than anyone expected. The very world that rejected her ended up honoring her work, and today, history remembers her as the mother of modern paleontology. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Live according to your nature, not someone else's." There's no better way to describe the freedom that comes from choosing your own path, even if no one understands it. It means daring to disappoint expectations, to challenge inherited scripts, and to endure the looks from people who don't understand your direction. Because if every step you take is designed to please others, you'll end up walking in circles. And here's a hard truth. If you want to go far, you're going to have to walk alone more than once. Your path will be questioned, your vision will seem strange, and there will be decisions only you can justify. If you want to go further, stop asking for permission to do so. Before making any important decision, ask yourself honestly, does this reflect who I am, or just what others expect from me? Accept that some people won't understand your path, and that's okay. Not everyone is meant to walk beside you. And remember this, a mistake made by your own choice teaches you more than a success handed to you by someone else, because at least it was your experience, your lesson, your growth. Walking alone isn't always comfortable, but that's where true respect is born. Not the kind you demand by shouting, but the kind that radiates from the quiet confidence of someone who trusts their steps. And as you leave your footprints on that path, you'll realize you don't need them to be applauded. It's enough to know they're yours. Now tell me, are you willing to choose your destiny even if no one understands it? Share it in the comments with this phrase, "I walk by my decisions, not their expectations." Because in the end, the one who dares to choose their own path doesn't just go further, they become the true owner of their life. Lesson 5. Nature makes you stronger. Imagine a river winding through the mountains, moving without hurry yet with unstoppable force. For centuries it has carved deep canyons, wearing down rock little by little, effortlessly. Around it, trees stand tall, stretching their branches toward the sky, growing steadily, ring after ring, silent witnesses to the passage of time. Birds glide with grace, not fighting against the wind, but allowing themselves to be carried by its currents. And there, in the midst of all that harmony, you realize something. Nature never rushes, yet everything gets done. So why do you live so disconnected from it? You've probably experienced this. You leave home just in time, chugging your coffee without even tasting it. On the subway, you glue yourself to your phone, checking emails and messages you won't even respond to. The day flies by in the blink of an eye, surrounded by noise, screens, and the constant feeling that the world is pushing you forward without giving you a break. By evening, your head feels foggy, like you've run a marathon without moving. You need a break, but instead of pausing, you keep going, scrolling mindlessly, jumping from one app to another, watching others stay busy, travel, work, accomplish things. The day slips away, and you're still running without actually getting anywhere. Did you know there's something called nature deficit? It's real. Psychologist Katia Hueso explains that it's a silent deficiency that's weakening us without us realizing it. We spend our lives trapped between four walls, surrounded by screens, more digitally connected than we are connected to the real world. And the result? More stress, more anxiety, more exhaustion. Now that you know this, imagine another scenario. You close your laptop, put down your phone, and step outside. No notification sounds, just the wind rustling through the leaves. You take a deep breath, and for the first time all day you realize something. Everything continues at its own pace, without rushing. The sun follows its path, the clouds drift without needing to hurry. The birds move from tree to tree without worrying about the clock. Ah, that peace? It's indescribable. And here's a question Seneca would ask if he were here. How do you expect to feel strong if you never step out of your comfort zone? He said it clearly. Living in constant comfort and avoiding hardship is to ignore half of nature. Because yes, nature isn't just sunshine and a refreshing breeze. It's rain, it's cold, it's effort. It's learning to get wet, to walk on rough terrain, to feel the wind on your face without complaining. It's remembering that your body was made to move with nature, not to be trapped inside four walls. So tell me, my friend, when was the last time you went outside without seeking refuge in a screen? How about a challenge? Leave your phone behind. Put on some comfortable shoes and go for a walk. No music, no podcasts, just you and the natural world. Watch how the sunlight filters through the leaves. Listen to the birds sing. Feel the wind against your skin. After an hour, compare how you feel. Lighter, clearer. Spend at least 10 minutes a day outdoors, without distractions. It could be in a park, your backyard, or just walking around your neighborhood. The key is to be present, connect with your surroundings, and let nature work its magic. So now you know. Step outside, connect. Let yourself grow stronger. Wisdom is found in nature, but only if you're willing to listen. When you do, you don't just strengthen your mind. You gain a lifelong ally on your journey to a fuller life. Sixth lesson. Your body trains your mind. Picture a sword left abandoned in a corner. At first it shines, but over time, covered in dust and rust, it loses its edge. What good is a weapon if it can't cut? The same thing happens with you. Your body is the tool you use to move through the world. If you let it rust, your mind weakens too. Because even though we like to separate them, body and mind are one. And when the body shuts down, the mind shuts down with it. For a Stoic, the body was also a field for discipline. They weren't philosophers locked away in dusty libraries. They were men of action. Marcus Aurelius rode at dawn and marched with his troops in the cold the next day. Epictetus, though crippled, insisted on training whatever part of his body he could, because his inner strength depended on refusing to give in to fragility. For a Stoic, the body wasn't decoration. It was a training ground, a place to forge mental resilience. Now tell me, how many times have you said, "I'll start Monday"? That Monday never comes. And every excuse you make is like another layer of rust on your sword. You say you don't have time, but then spend hours staring at screens. You say you don't have energy, but movement is exactly what would give it to you. The problem isn't that your body can't. It's that your mind has gotten used to doing nothing. Think of what happened when an explorer and his crew got trapped in the ice. Ernest Shackleton faced the Antarctic when his ship was caught in frozen waters. For months, he and his crew were on the brink of death. The cold was brutal, the hunger constant. What kept them alive? They couldn't control the weather or the ice, but they could move. Every day they walked, rowed, dragged what was left of their ship. The simple act of not staying still kept their minds sharp. Shackleton knew that if they stopped, not only would their bodies freeze, their spirit would break. You may not be in Antarctica, but you are in a world that often traps you in a routine of couch, office, and bed. And in that trap, your mind starts to dim, little by little. Because without movement, there's no clarity. Without sweat, no release. And without physical discipline, the mind starts giving up on everything else. All it takes is a few minutes of movement, and your mind starts letting go of the pressure it's been carrying. Do you know why? Because when you move, your brain releases chemicals that lower stress and increase your sense of control. And you don't need to run marathons. Walking for 10 minutes can already shift your mood. It's like opening a window in a stuffy room. Fresh air comes in, and suddenly you can breathe again. My friend, your body is your first fortress. If you don't take care of it, everything else crumbles. What's the point of talking about building a strong mind if every day you trap it in a body that's weak, tired, and drained? This isn't about looks or muscles. It's about freedom. When your body responds, your mind feels capable of anything. Try it. Next time you're overwhelmed, instead of getting stuck in your thoughts, go for a walk, even just 5 minutes. Watch what happens. Your mind starts to organize itself. The anxiety fades. Your thoughts become clearer. That's not magic. It's biology, working in service of your calm. Find a kind of movement you enjoy. It doesn't matter if it's dancing in your living room, swimming, lifting weights, or doing yoga. What matters is that you don't see it as punishment, but as a reminder that you're alive, that your body can still move. And every time you do it, you're also training your character. You're proving to yourself that you have the discipline to choose what strengthens you instead of what weakens you. Seneca put it clearly. A well-cared-for body is a reflection of an ordered mind. And it's true. You don't care for your body out of vanity, but because you know it's the instrument with which you shape your life. And if you neglect the instrument, the music you play will be chaotic. So stop saying you'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow doesn't exist. The only thing you have is today, and today you can choose to move. Every step you take, no matter how small, is one more brick in building that strong mind no one will ever be able to tear down. Lesson 7. Pause, don't react. Imagine you're in a chess game. Your opponent moves a piece, and without thinking, you make your move instantly. You don't analyze. You don't think about strategy. You just react. And in a matter of seconds, checkmate. You've lost because you didn't take a moment to think. Now tell me, how many times do you do the same thing in life? Someone says something you don't like, and you blurt out the first response that comes to mind. You face a problem, and instead of analyzing it, you act on impulse. You react without thinking, and many times that's exactly what gets you into even more trouble. Psychologist Daniel Kahneman, author of Thinking Fast and Slow, explains this well. Our brain has two ways of acting. One is fast and impulsive, reacting without thought, and the other is slower and more reflective, analyzing before making a decision. The problem? Most of the time we live in the first mode, like a pen spring that pops at the slightest touch. No filter, no pause, just an automatic reaction that often leads to regret. The Stoics understood this well. Know yourself, they said. Learning to pause before reacting is a sign of mental strength. Because it's not about suppressing emotions or becoming a robot. It's about mastering the art of responding wisely instead of being dragged around by the moment. Imagine this. You invite your aunt over after months without seeing her. You prepare coffee, sit with her, and suddenly she says, "Oh, there's dust on the table. If I were you, I'd clean more often." Your instinct tells you to fire back immediately. Well, if it bothers you so much, clean it yourself. Or maybe just frown and say, yeah, whatever. But if you take a deep breath before answering, everything changes. You think, do I really want to argue about this? Maybe you just smile and say, I'll keep that in mind, Aunt. So, how have you been? That tiny space between stimulus and response can be the difference between a pleasant afternoon and an unnecessary argument. And yes, I know what you're thinking. It's easier said than done. When emotions run high, when anger flares, when frustration takes over, stopping yourself feels almost impossible. And you're right, it's not easy. But here are 3 steps that will help you train your mind. First, use the 3-second rule. Before responding to something that upsets you, count to 3 in your mind. That small pause gives you just enough time to decide if what you're about to say is really worth it. Second, shift your focus. Instead of reacting with, "Why did they say that to me?" ask yourself, does this comment actually help me in any way? Sometimes, a criticism contains something useful. Sometimes, a difficult situation is an opportunity to improve your patience. Third, breathe. Remember what we talked about before, how breathing can change your mental state? Now's the time to put it into practice. If you feel anger or fear taking over, take a deep breath before acting. It's not just relaxation, it's a biological strategy that helps shift your brain from reactive mode to rational mode. At the end of the day, my friend, a strong mind isn't one that never gets triggered. It's one that knows when to speak and when to stay silent, when to act and when to wait. Because in life, just like in chess, the best moves aren't made on impulse, they're made with strategy. Lesson 8. Discover who you are when everything goes quiet. Have you ever felt like you know yourself, but deep down you suspect you've barely scratched the surface? Have you ever had the sense that there are parts of you you avoid looking at, like if you don't think about them, they might stop existing? Or worse, have you realized you've spent years repeating the same behaviors without knowing why? If so, you're not alone. We all go through this, and still, very few of us dare to stay alone with our thoughts long enough to uncover what's beneath the surface. And if you've ever tried to truly get to know yourself, you'll know. It's not as easy as it sounds. As Epictetus warned, it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. That line hits straight at our comfort zone, because as long as we're convinced we already know ourselves, we'll avoid the most uncomfortable part of all, seeing ourselves without filters. And only those who dare to do that can begin to build from a place of truth. Socrates' story makes it clearer than any theory ever could. It said he would spend long hours in silence, not to shut out the world, but to observe it from the inside. His famous phrase, "Know thyself," wasn't just a nice quote to carve into a temple wall. It was a way of life. He believed that anyone who doesn't understand themselves ends up a slave to their impulses, desires, and fears. And there's nothing more dangerous than walking through life without knowing which voice is guiding your steps. Marcus Aurelius had a habit that many today would find uncomfortable. Every night he would review his thoughts, decisions, and reactions from the day. He didn't do it to punish himself, but to understand, to see why he got angry, why he acted with ego, or what he did well. That constant practice of introspection was, for him, as important as preparing for any battle. Because if you don't know yourself, you can't govern yourself. And if you can't govern yourself, you'll struggle to inspire true respect through your actions. So now I want you to think about yourself. Maybe your days are full of noise, work, messages, social media, conversations, and in the middle of all that, there's no space left to actually hear yourself. But self-knowledge doesn't happen in crowds. It happens in silence, in those moments when you choose to stay with yourself, even if you don't like what you see. Because it's in that discomfort where real transformation begins. There are many ways to start that path. For example, each night write down 3 things you discovered about yourself that day, even if they're not pretty. Today I realized I struggle to say sorry. Today I noticed I avoid hard conversations. Today I saw how much I seek approval. You can also try doing new things alone, like traveling by yourself or signing up for a class that pushes you out of your comfort zone. These experiences reveal sides of you you hadn't met yet. And even though it might sound strange, speaking to yourself out loud can help you hear what you really think, without the filter of routine. When you choose to get to know yourself, you'll see that silence isn't the enemy. It's a mirror. And the clearer that reflection becomes, the more confidently you'll walk, without needing to shout or impose. Because authentic respect doesn't come from noise, but from the calm and clarity of someone who knows who they are. Now here's a question for you to reflect on, and I'd love for you to answer it in the comments. What part of yourself are you ready to discover today? And if you'd rather keep it simple, write, "Today I begin to truly know myself." 9th lesson, be grateful, or stay trapped in scarcity. My friend, listen closely. The way you see the world decides whether you live in fullness or whether you carry a constant feeling of emptiness. You can wake up every morning thinking about what you lack, what you haven't achieved yet, what others have that you don't. Or you can train your mind to notice what's already in your life, how far you've come, what you now enjoy that you once didn't have. The difference between those two mindsets is the difference between living in scarcity or in abundance. This isn't some modern trend from psychologists or motivational speakers. Marcus Aurelius was already doing this almost 2,000 years ago. In his meditations, he wrote reflections of gratitude, not just for the good things, but also for the difficult ones. He gave thanks for adversity, because it gave him a chance to strengthen his character. He gave thanks for problems, because they taught him patience and self-control. His mindset wasn't, "Why is this happening to me?" but, "What can I learn and be grateful for in this?" That mindset allowed him to lead an empire in crisis without collapsing inside. Scarcity isn't always real. Most of the time, it's mental. Epictetus reminded us often, what matters is not what you have, but how you use it. If you believe you need more to be happy, it will never be enough. If you think what you have now isn't sufficient, you'll always live in frustration, even if on paper you lack nothing. Picture 2 people living the exact same day. The first one opens their eyes and thinks, "Ugh, Monday again. This sucks. It's cold, I've got way too much work, I barely slept." And that neighbor is still making noise. Before even getting out of bed, they're already dragging a chain of complaints. The second person opens their eyes and thinks, "Another day, another chance. The sun's out. I'll enjoy a quiet coffee before I get started. Let's see what I can get done today." The circumstances are identical. What changes isn't the reality, it's the perspective. That difference shapes entire lives. The first person is trapped in scarcity, always feeling like something's missing. The second lives in abundance, finding strength in the small things. So, how do you train your mind to see like that? Start with a very simple habit. Each morning, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be grand achievements or life-changing events. Small details are enough. I slept well. There's food in the fridge. A friend checked in on me. Why do it? Because your brain is wired to focus on the negative. It's an ancient survival mechanism. Spot the danger, detect the problem. But if you train it every day to notice the good, over time, it rewires the way it sees your entire life. And it's not just about being grateful for the positive. True strength lies in learning to be grateful even for the uncomfortable. Did a plan get canceled? Maybe that's exactly the rest you needed. A problem at work? Maybe it was a chance to show what you're capable of. Did someone disappoint you? That's a reminder not to place your peace in other people's hands. Gratitude isn't naivety, it's perspective. Seneca said it differently. The man who needs little is the richest, because when you learn to value what you already have, you'll never feel poor, even when the world tries to convince you otherwise. Think about this. Every day you go without practicing gratitude is like walking around with a veil over your eyes. You don't see what you already have, you only see what's missing. And living like that traps you in endless dissatisfaction. But when you start being grateful, that veil lifts. You start to realize there is already enough to feel whole, even if you're still on the path toward your goals. My friend, you get to choose. Keep stacking complaints that don't change anything, or train your mind to see the abundance already present. This isn't about denying the hard stuff, or forcing yourself to smile when you don't feel like it. It's about recognizing that even in the difficult moments, there's something that can make you stronger, something you can thank. So I'll ask you directly, do you want to keep living in scarcity, or do you want to start training your mind in gratitude? Remember, gratitude isn't just a nice idea. It's the key to seeing clearly, to building a strong mind, and to letting go of the feeling that you're always missing something. Lesson 10. Saying no is a superpower. Tell me, my friend, how many times have you said yes just because you felt awkward saying no? Yes, I'll take care of that, don't worry. Even though you already have 1,000 things on your plate. Yes, sure, I'll go to that event. Even though all you really want is to rest. Yes, I'll help you with that. Even though it's not your problem or your responsibility. My friend, if Marcus Aurelius saw you now, he'd probably say, if you don't decide for yourself, someone else will. If you don't set your own limits, life will do it for you, and not in a way that benefits you. Learning to say no isn't selfish, it's clarity. It's knowing what truly matters and what isn't worth your time. Have you heard of Warren Buffett's no rule? He understood it well. The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. And no, it's not that he was selfish or antisocial. He simply understood something that you and I often forget. Every thoughtless yes is a no to what truly matters. I'm sure this situation sounds familiar. Someone invites you to a dinner you have zero interest in. Your week has been exhausting and all you want is to rest, but there you are, texting back, "Okay, I'll be there," while feeling a little pang of regret, because deep down, you didn't want to say yes, but you also didn't know how to say no. So tell me, do you want to become the superhero of no? First, buy yourself some time. You don't have to respond instantly. When someone asks something of you, take a breath and say, "Let me think about it." This gives you enough space to decide if you truly want to do it, or if you're just accepting out of obligation. Want another trick? Have your responses ready. If you always fall into automatic yeses, practice responses like, "I can't commit to that right now," or "Thanks for thinking of me, but I'll have to pass this time." Write them down in your phone's notes so you can just copy and paste when needed. And above all, remember your most important yes. Every no you say protects what truly matters. If you learn to say no to things that drain your time and energy, you'll be saying yes to your peace, your growth, and what you actually want in life. Because in the end, my friend, your peace is worth more than anyone else's approval. Learning to say no is an act of power, a shield against what doesn't serve you, and a key that unlocks a more authentic life. It's not about rejecting everything. It's about only accepting what truly adds value. Are you ready to take control? Lesson 11. Want to be unstoppable? Sleep well. My friend, they say there was once a lion in the savannah who believed he was invincible. His mane shone under the sun, his roar commanded respect, and his speed made him unstoppable in the hunt. But there was one thing he didn't believe in: rest. While the other lions slept in the shade of the trees, he stayed alert, always moving, always hunting. Sleep is for the weak, he thought. I am stronger than sleep. Until one day the savannah put him to the test. The sun burned in the sky, and he had gone days without proper rest, relying only on his instincts and strength. Then, he spotted his prey, a lone gazelle, the perfect opportunity. He launched into the chase, but something was wrong. His legs, once light, felt heavy. His mind, once sharp, now hesitated. He tried to speed up, but the gazelle was already pulling ahead. His reflexes were slower, his vision blurry, his energy drained. And just like that, the great king of the savannah was left behind, watching as his meal slipped away. But hunger doesn't wait, and the wild doesn't forgive those who aren't at their best. That night, the lion lay under the moon, feeling the full weight of his exhaustion for the first time. He hadn't lost because he was weak. He had lost because he wasn't rested. From that moment on, he learned that even the king of the savannah must close his eyes to keep ruling. Because without rest, the prey always escapes. Without rest, the body shuts down. And without rest, even the strongest will eventually fall. And you, my friend, are you one of those people who say, "I'll sleep when I retire," or "I'll rest when I'm dead"? Trust me, that mindset will only lead you to burnout and a weakened mind. Do you think Marcus Aurelius would have stayed up watching one more episode of your favorite show? Of course not. For the Stoics, rest wasn't a luxury. It was a necessity to maintain mental clarity and inner strength. They knew that a tired mind is fertile ground for uncontrolled emotions and impulsive decisions. Matthew Walker, in his book Why We Sleep, makes it clear: sleep isn't a luxury. It's a vital necessity for your mind. While you sleep, your brain isn't resting. It's working for you. It strengthens your memory, processes your emotions, and clears out toxins that, if left to build up, affect your mental clarity. But what happens when you don't sleep well? Everything falls apart. Your focus blurs, your ability to make decisions weakens, and your mood plummets. It's like trying to use a phone with 5% battery. Every task feels twice as hard, and even small problems overwhelm you. So don't fool yourself with the classic "I can function on little sleep," because sooner or later, the consequences will catch up with you. Depriving yourself of rest is sabotaging your own mind. So what can you do? First, turn off screens at least an hour before bed. You've probably heard this 1,000 times, but blue light tricks your brain. It blocks melatonin production, the hormone that helps you sleep. The result? You get in bed, but your mind is still racing. Second, change the habit. Read a book, listen to relaxing music, or do a wind-down routine. Your brain needs a transition between day and night. And here's something crucial. Your bedroom should be a temple of rest, dark, cool, and quiet. If you use your phone, at least switch to night mode and keep it on a table far from reach. Finally, wake up with purpose. It's not just about sleeping well, it's about having a reason to get up. If your first thought in the morning is stress, your day starts uphill. Align your rest with what you want to achieve. Remember, sleeping isn't wasting time, it's recharging your power. If you want to build a truly strong mind, start by giving your body the rest it deserves. Only then can you face the world with the clarity and determination of a true Stoic. Lesson 12. Silence is your superpower. Be honest, you can't stand silence. It makes you so uncomfortable that you fill it with anything. The TV on even when you're not watching, background music you're not really listening to, words that escape just to cover up the emptiness. And it's curious because you fear silence more than you fear losing your inner strength. But listen, the mind of a true Stoic isn't measured by what it says, but by what it's capable of keeping quiet. Imagine a game of poker. The player who talks too much, who justifies themselves, who shows emotion, gives away the upper hand without even realizing it. But the one who stays silent, observes, and waits, that's the one who ends up winning the game. Life works the same way. While others wear themselves out talking, you grow stronger in your silence. The mind of a Stoic works differently. It doesn't react on impulse. It responds with calm. For them, silence wasn't emptiness, it was a training ground. Seneca said that words are often like arrows shot without aim, impossible to take back. Silence, on the other hand, gives you time to aim. to decide whether it's worth releasing the arrow or better to hold your ground. That pause is what turns an impulse into a decision. Picture a real-life situation. You're at work. Someone criticizes you unfairly in front of everyone. Your first reaction is to defend yourself with anger, to throw words like knives just to shut them up. But if you wait just a few seconds, if you breathe and stay silent, something powerful happens. The power shifts. The other person is left exposed in their aggression, while you keep your dignity intact. That's what a strong mind does. Resist the urge to react instantly. Today, we know silence isn't emptiness. It's a pause that completely changes how you respond. In moments of conflict, those who take a beat before speaking don't just reduce the tension, they also earn more respect. Silence isn't absence, it's strategy. It's like chess. Great players don't rush to move their pieces. They take their time, they think several moves ahead, and each pause is part of the win. Think of Mandela. He spent 27 years in prison, surrounded by injustice and hatred. Could he have screamed, cursed, and lost his temper every day? Of course. But he chose silence as his weapon. He listened more than he spoke, reflected before responding, and that self-control gave him a moral authority that even his enemies couldn't break. He himself said that a true leader isn't always the one who speaks the most, but the one who knows how to listen and when it's worth speaking at all. My friend, if you truly want to build a mind so strong that nothing can hurt you, you need to make peace with silence. This isn't about enduring humiliation or keeping quiet about what needs to be said. It's about mastering yourself, not giving away your peace for a reaction you'll regret. Start with something simple. The next time someone tries to provoke you, hold a few seconds of silence, not as a passive gesture, but as a space to choose your best response. Breathe, observe, and ask yourself, does this deserve my energy, or does it just feed the conflict? Many times you'll realize that staying quiet is more powerful than anything you could say. Another way to train this habit is to practice silence with yourself. Set aside a few minutes a day without background noise. No phone, no TV, no music. Just sit alone with your thoughts. At first it'll feel uncomfortable, almost unbearable. But with time, you'll see that in that empty space, you begin to hear what really matters. Your mind, your emotions, your direction. Silence isn't cowardice, it's power. It's the shield against impulsiveness and the weapon of those who decide with calm. When you learn to stay silent, you stop being a slave to your reactions and become the master of your choices. Let me leave you with these words from Zeno of Citium. Better to stumble with your feet than with your tongue, because in the end, a fall may hurt, but the wrong words can leave scars that go much deeper. Now, I want to hear from you. In what situations do you feel like you talk more than you should? Tell me in the comments. I want to read your story. And if you'd rather go straight to the point, write this phrase: today I choose the silence that makes me strong. That way I'll know you're one of those who are ready to build a mind so solid that nothing and no one can ever hurt you again. Lesson 13. Trust yourself more than any applause. Some fires are lit by applause and others burn silently, even when no one sees them. Confidence belongs to that second kind. It doesn't need a stage or praise or spectators. It lives inside you like an inner torch, one that doesn't shine brighter just because others are watching, but because you choose to keep it burning, even when the wind blows against you. Marcus Aurelius said it simply: look within. There lies the fountain of good, and it will keep flowing as long as you keep digging. That source, that unshakable strength, is in you, even if sometimes you forget. Imagine you're chasing a dream that few people understand. Maybe your family criticizes it, your friends don't take it seriously, and even you sometimes doubt it in silence. And yet, you keep going. Not because you have guarantees, but because there's a quiet voice inside you saying, trust. That is true confidence, the kind that doesn't need a crowd, the kind that holds steady even when no one is pushing you forward. Maybe your choices don't make sense to others right now. Maybe the people around you question your abilities or fail to see what you see in yourself. But if you trust your judgment, if you keep showing up and stay on course even when it doesn't make sense to anyone else, one day, those same people who doubted you will ask how you did it. And you'll know the truth. You didn't do it to convince them. You did it because you believed in yourself when no one else did. Epictetus said, "He who seeks happiness outside himself is doomed to disappointment." And he couldn't have been more right. If your worth depends on recognition, you'll spend your life chasing validation. Every applause will become a need, every silence a threat. But when your confidence comes from your ability to choose, adapt, and persist, nothing external can break you. That's the difference between being a prisoner of other people's opinions and walking calmly, even when the path is empty. When doubt shows up, and it will, remember all those moments you pushed through without help. Let those memories fuel you. Speak to yourself out loud if you need to. Say, "I can handle this," and learn to move in silence. You don't have to announce every step. Sometimes the strongest kind of confidence is just moving forward without a word and letting your results do the talking. And the most powerful thing of all is this: once you learn to trust yourself, walking alone stops being scary. You stop looking sideways for approval and begin to move forward with steady steps, even if no one is walking beside you. That's the kind of confidence that takes you further, the kind that doesn't need witnesses to stay strong, the kind that doesn't flicker in solitude, the kind that keeps going when everything else stands still. Because the one who dares to believe in their path, even if they walk it in silence, ends up reaching places those who depend on applause will never touch. Lesson 14. Adversity is not your enemy. Tell me, my friend, how many times have you complained because life keeps throwing obstacles your way? How many times have you thought, "Why me?" when something didn't go as planned? You lose a job, someone disappoints you, a plan falls apart, and in your mind, it all feels like an injustice. But now imagine something different. What if every problem wasn't a punishment, but an opportunity to make you stronger? Think about it. Every great story of resilience begins with hardship. No one becomes strong in comfort. No one becomes legendary because life was easy. Here's an example you may not know. Theodore Roosevelt. As a child, Roosevelt wasn't the unstoppable leader he would later become. He was sickly, suffered from severe asthma attacks that left him gasping for air, and spent more time in bed than outside. Most people in his position would have accepted that as their fate. But his father didn't pity him. Instead, he told him something that would change his life forever. "You have a brilliant mind, but your body is weak, and without a strong body, your mind will never reach its full potential." From that moment on, Roosevelt decided he would not be a victim of his circumstances. He dedicated himself to boxing, weightlifting, and outdoor life. He became a man of action. And when life hit him with unimaginable tragedy, losing both his mother and wife on the same day, he didn't fall apart. He moved west, reinvented himself, and returned as a leader who faced adversity with absolute determination. He didn't complain about problems. He used them as training. The Stoics saw life the same way. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A mind unshaken by violent passions is a fortress, and a man has no safer refuge than within himself." Think of it this way. Marcus Aurelius was essentially the Stoic version of Batman. He ruled an empire in crisis, faced betrayals, wars, and plagues, yet he remained in control. Not because the world was easy, but because he had turned his mind into an unbreakable fortress. It didn't matter what happened outside. What mattered was how he responded. Now think about a relationship that didn't work out, a friendship that ended, that moment when you felt like everything was falling apart. Tell me, did you learn something from that experience? I bet you did, even if you didn't see it at the time. Maybe you realized you couldn't rely on others to feel complete. Maybe you saw that you had been settling for less than you deserved. Adversity pushes you to grow, but only if you choose to learn from it instead of running from it. So here are 3 things you can do when life throws obstacles your way. First, laugh at the problem. Yes, seriously. Sometimes things seem terrible in the moment, but with time you realize they weren't such a big deal. If you're going to laugh about it in 5 years, why not start laughing now? Second, ask yourself, what is this teaching me? Every challenge comes with a lesson. Is it patience, resilience, the ability to let go of what you can't control? If you find the lesson, the struggle won't have been in vain. Third, act as if this is training. When life tests you, take a deep breath and think, okay, this is part of the process. This is making me stronger. Because every challenge you overcome is like a muscle you're building in your mind. Every tough day is like an obstacle course. At first you may stumble, fall, and feel like you won't make it to the end. But each time you overcome a hurdle, your legs get stronger, your endurance grows, and your mind learns not to give up. Next time life tests you, picture yourself in the middle of that race. Every hit is part of the training. Every fall is a lesson pushing you closer to a stronger version of yourself. Because in the end, what truly matters isn't how many obstacles are in your way. It's who you become when you cross the finish line. Lesson 15. Train your mind every morning. Picture a rock in the middle of the sea. The waves crash against it over and over. The winds whip it. The tide rises and falls. And yet, it stays right there, steady, unmoved. That rock isn't bigger than the ocean, but it has something that helps it endure. Deep inner solidity. That's exactly how your mind should be. Because life, trust me, won't stop pushing you. Every day brings new waves, criticism, setbacks, losses, disappointments. And if you haven't trained your inner world, any hit will carry you off like a dry branch floating in the current. If there's something the Stoics repeated again and again, it's this: real power lies in the mind. Marcus Aurelius, in his meditations, would start each day reminding himself that he'd come across selfish, envious, and unfair people. He didn't do this to feel bitter. He did it to shield his mind. It was like putting on armor before heading into battle. He knew the blow was coming, but he wasn't going to be caught off guard. That practice kept him grounded, like the rock in the sea. Now tell me, how many times do you start your day in the worst possible way? Alarm going off late, phone in hand, messages piling up, rushing. And without realizing it, you're already reacting instead of choosing. You start the day dragged by the noise, instead of starting by training your calm. And that's the key difference. A strong mind isn't born in crisis. It's built in daily routine. The Stoics called this exercise the premeditation of evils. Seneca advised thinking about what could go wrong, not to live in fear, but so that when it did happen, it wouldn't be a shock. Because when you expect perfection, any stumble breaks you. But if you've already visualized the obstacles, the impact is softer, and your response is clearer. It's like the wave still hits you, but you are ready to stand your ground. Don't think this is just for philosophers or emperors. Look at modern life. Simone Biles, the Olympic gymnast, admitted that her biggest battles weren't on the competition floor. They were in her mind. The pressure, the expectations, the constant judgment were breaking her from the inside. And she made a radical decision: to stop, to recover her calm, to train her mind more than her body. Every morning she reminded herself that her worth didn't depend on a medal. That shift not only saved her career, it saved her mental health. She understood that the rock was within her, not in the applause. And you, my friend, how are you training your mind each morning? If the answer is not at all, then don't be surprised if you feel fragile when the first wave hits. A strong mind is built in the small things. You don't need impossible rituals or hours of silence in a monastery. What you need is intention and consistency. For example, when you wake up, you could repeat to yourself what's beyond your control. Maybe that client who will complain, that person who won't change, or that situation you simply can't fix. By remembering that, you free yourself from wasting energy on what isn't in your hands. It's like taking a weight off before your day begins. You can also take a few minutes to visualize what might go wrong. It's not pessimism, it's preparation. If you imagine something might fail, The blow doesn't catch you off guard. You receive it calmly. It's like seeing the wave from afar, instead of letting it slam you out of nowhere. And don't forget your anchor. For some, it's conscious breathing. For others, writing a few lines. For others, repeating a phrase that brings them back to center. The important thing is that you have a place to return to whenever the noise tries to shake you. That simple gesture, repeated every day, becomes the foundation of your strength. Of course, at first you'll feel resistance. You'll tell yourself you don't have time, that you're too tired, that it's silly. But think about this. Would a soldier go into battle without armor? Saying you don't have time to train your mind is like saying you don't have time to protect yourself before heading into the fight. In the end, you'll pay the price either way, only with more pain. The Stoics didn't aim for perfect minds. They aimed for trained minds. A mind that stumbles, but gets up. That feels fear, but doesn't let itself be carried away. That takes the hit, but stands firm like the rock. And that strength, believe me, is within reach for anyone who decides to begin. Tomorrow, when you open your eyes, don't hand your day over to chaos from the very first minute. Remember Marcus Aurelius writing in the dim light of his tent. Remember Seneca preparing his spirit for the unexpected. Remember Simone Biles choosing calm over pressure. Make those first few minutes your training. Because life will always bring waves, but you can be the rock that endures. And that is how you build a mind so strong that nothing will ever hurt you again. Lesson 16. Breathe or let chaos control you. Beep, beep, beep. Your alarm goes off. You turn it off, but you're already late. You jump out of bed, throw on the first thing you find, and rush out the door. While trying to fix your hair with one hand, you check your phone with the other. 10 unread messages, some from work, others from your family. You get in the car and traffic is a nightmare. Honk, honk. Sudden break. Some guy yells from his window. You arrive at work, and your boss is waiting with a stern face. I need that report in 10 minutes. Where even is that file? You wonder. You start searching, but the system freezes. Click, click, click. Nothing. And to top it all off, you realize you forgot to eat breakfast. Your heart is racing. You feel the pressure in your chest, the stiffness in your neck, your mind scattered. Everything is chaos. And you are its prisoner. Now tell me, my friend, how many of your days start like this? How many times have you felt like the world is dragging you along and you have no control? The problem isn't traffic, work, or your alarm clock. The problem is you don't know how to breathe. Sounds absurd, right? Breathing is the most natural thing in the world. We do it without thinking, from the moment we're born until the moment we die. But what you might not realize is that the way you breathe can be the difference between a chaotic mind and a strong one. And no, this isn't an exaggeration. Breathing is the pause button for your nervous system. Science is clear. When you breathe shallowly, you activate the sympathetic nervous system, the one that prepares you for fight or flight. It's as if your body thinks you're being chased by a bear, when in reality you're just stressed about a work email. But when you breathe deeply and intentionally, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the one that brings you back to calm. It's like pressing the Zen mode button. Suddenly, instead of a bear, all you see is a playful puppy. Your heart rate slows down, your mind clears, and everything feels much less chaotic. If you saw yourself in that morning scenario, then you need to learn to breathe. Trust me. There is no simpler way to build a strong and unshakable mind. So, what can you do next time? Try the 4-7-8 technique. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds, hold it for 7, and exhale slowly through your mouth for 8. Repeat it 4 times, and you'll feel your body shift into a state of calm. And here's a little extra tip. Pair your breathing with a physical gesture to signal to your body, relax. We've got this under control. Shake your shoulders as if you're shrugging off stress. Stretch your arms as you inhale like you're waking from a deep sleep, or tap your chest lightly before exhaling, like hitting a reset button. Remember, my friend, a strong mind isn't one that never faces chaos. It's one that knows how to find calm within it. 17th lesson. meditate, and build mental strength. Do you think a warrior prepares only through physical training? Wrong. The toughest battlefield is in your own mind, and if you don't train it, any problem will knock you down like a leaf in the wind. Think of Marcus Aurelius. He ruled the Roman Empire, faced wars, betrayals, and plagues. One day he was in his luxurious palace. The next, he was in a freezing winter camp, surrounded by enemies. How do you think he handled that pressure? With anger? With fear? Spoiler? No. He did it with calm, with clarity, with absolute mental control. Not because he had some supernatural power, but because he trained his mind every single day. And no, he wasn't sitting cross-legged chanting Om. For the Stoics, meditation was much more practical. It meant reflecting on their thoughts, examining their emotions, and preparing for any storm that might come their way. Epictetus put it clearly, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters." Michael Acton Smith, the creator of Calm, admitted that before discovering this habit he lived in a constant state of anxiety. He himself said, "I worked non-stop, slept poorly, and my mind was a mess." But when he started meditating, everything changed. Suddenly, instead of being a slave to his thoughts, he learned to direct them. Now tell me, how many times have you felt like your mind is a whirlwind of worries? That you think and think and think but get nowhere? Like your mind is a runaway car speeding downhill with no brakes? The good news is, you can pull the handbrake, and you don't need hours, just 10 minutes a day. Acton Smith explains it clearly. You don't have to be a Buddhist monk or dedicate half your life to meditation to feel its benefits. Just start small. A couple of minutes anywhere, morning before bed, or even during a short work break. And here's the most important part. Don't try to do it perfectly. Your mind will wander, you'll get distracted, you'll feel weird at first, and that's okay. The only thing you have to do is bring your focus back to your breath. No judgment, no frustration, just return. Imagine you're in the middle of a chaotic day. You woke up late, your boss is pressuring you, your meeting ran over, and you didn't even have time to eat. Your mind jumps from one problem to another without rest. But instead of letting the chaos consume you, you decide to do something different. When you get home, you sit down. You take a deep breath. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Slowly. You feel the air moving in and out. For a few seconds, nothing else matters. Thoughts will come, because that's how the mind works. I need to send that email. What if I miss the deadline? What's going to happen tomorrow? And that's okay. You acknowledge them, but you don't latch on to them. You let them pass like clouds drifting in the sky. And then, you return to your breath. Over time, this becomes your anchor. No matter what happens around you, you know how to regain your calm. Because a strong mind isn't one that never gets shaken. It's one that always finds its way back to tranquility. So the next time you think you don't have time to meditate, remember, it's like saying you don't have time to sharpen your sword before battle. Lesson number 18. If you don't move, you weaken. Think of a snail without its shell. It would be vulnerable, unprotected, unable to move with confidence. Its shell is its refuge, its shield, its tool for survival. That's why it takes such good care of it. It clings to its home as the most valuable thing in its life. Well, my friend, you also have a home that is your most valuable treasure, your body. If you abandon it, if you don't take care of it, if you don't strengthen it, you become your own worst obstacle. Let me tell you the story of John McAvoy and how his body saved him. John was a prisoner and he was at rock bottom, not metaphorically, literally. Locked in a cold cell, listening to metal doors slamming shut behind him, with no future beyond a life sentence. His mind was shattered. Every day was the same. He woke up, stared at the ceiling, counted the hours. No direction, no purpose, nothing. And in that darkness, hopelessness consumed him. He had no control over his life, but worse, he had no control over his own mind. But one day, something changed. Walking through the prison, he saw an old stationary bike in the corner of the gym. Without thinking too much, he got on. He pedaled for a few minutes, then a few more. For the first time in a long time, he felt like he could do something, that he had control over at least one movement in his life. And that's how it started, day after day, pedaling without a destination, but with a purpose that had begun to awaken. Every drop of sweat didn't just strengthen his muscles, it rebuilt his mind. He stopped being a prisoner without a future and started feeling like someone capable of rewriting his story. By the time he was released, he was no longer the same man. He became an elite endurance athlete, breaking records, leaving his criminal past behind, and finding purpose where there had once been only despair. John didn't just rebuild his body, he rebuilt his mind. And science backs this up. Movement isn't just about physical health, it's about connection to life. Dr. Andy Galpin explains that the less you move, the more isolated you become. Think about it. If you can't walk much, you won't go to your cousin's birthday party in the mountains. If you can't lift a suitcase, you stop traveling. If you feel drained all the time, you'd rather stay home than go out and meet people. And little by little, your world shrinks. Now tell me, how many times have you said, "I'll start tomorrow," and that tomorrow turns into a week, then a month, and before you know it, you've gotten used to inactivity, to low energy, to feeling sluggish. And the worst part? This affects your mind too. But here's the solution. Move, even if it's just a little. Walk every day. You don't need to run marathons, but your body is designed for movement. Don't let it rust. Find something you enjoy. You don't have to force yourself to go to the gym if you hate it. Dance, swim, hike. The best exercise is the one you can do without feeling like it's a punishment. And most importantly, use movement as therapy. The next time you feel stressed or frustrated, don't stay trapped in your thoughts. Step outside, even for a few minutes. Mental clarity comes after action. Even a wise man like Seneca knew this. A well-cared-for body is a reflection of an orderly mind. And no, don't get it wrong, this isn't just about looks or being in shape. It's much bigger than that. When you move, when you strengthen your body, you're training your mind. You're developing discipline, endurance, clarity. Because if you can't master something as basic as your own movement, how do you expect to master the rest of your life? So stop looking for excuses. Get up, move, and start building the strong mind you need. Lesson 19. Find your strength. When no one holds you up. They say some people are born with the wind at their back. Epictetus wasn't one of them. He was born in a house where he didn't even have his own name, just a number. He owned nothing, not even the right to decide what to do with his days. Orders ruled his life, and punishment was the language he lived in. And yet, in the middle of all that, something unexpected happened. He didn't break. Every time the world knocked him down, he found a reason within himself to get back up. Every time someone tried to make him a slave, he chose to be free in his mind. "No one is free unless he is master of himself," he wrote. It wasn't just a pretty phrase. It was a declaration of war against everything that tried to destroy him. And if he, with no support, no privileges, and no help, managed to stay standing, why wouldn't you be able to do the same? Maybe you're still waiting for someone to come and save you. But the truth is, no one can rescue you better than you can. Not because you're invincible, but because there is far more strength in you than you think. The problem is, you forget it every time you tie your strength to someone else's presence. Think about this. There are people who, after a breakup, a loss, or a betrayal, collapse because they feel they have no one to turn to. And then there are others who, despite feeling the same pain, keep going. Not because it hurts less, but because they understand that to stop would be to betray themselves. They start from scratch, rebuild their goals, heal step by step. And with every step, they discover that real strength isn't in who walks with you. It's in not giving up. Seneca once wrote, "The soul becomes stronger through adversity." And he was right. That discomfort we fear so much, the silence, the absence, the emptiness, is actually an invisible gym. Every time you choose to rise without help, your foundation gets stronger. Every time you keep moving without a push, your will becomes steel. That kind of strength doesn't make noise, but once it's there, nothing can break it. Maybe today you feel like you're alone, but that's your opportunity. Redefine solitude, not as abandonment, but as the perfect setting to find out what you're really made of. Start small. Pour your energy into actions that depend only on you, without waiting for praise or permission. And when you start doubting your strength, remember every time you got through something alone. Those silent victories are proof that you can handle this too. When there's no one left to hold you up, you become your own pillar. And once you realize you can stand on your own, you understand that abandonment, loss, or failure have no real power over you. In fact, every obstacle becomes a chance to prove to yourself that you don't need to shout to be strong, or rely on others to earn respect. All you need is that quiet decision to keep going, even when you're walking the path alone. Because the one who walks alone goes further and walks stronger. Lesson 20. Your environment shapes who you are. My friend, show me your space and I'll tell you what your mind will become. It's as simple as that. Look around, what do you see? A clean, organized desk, or a mountain of papers, tangled cables, and empty coffee cups? A space that inspires calm, or a chaotic mess that only adds noise to your head? Because here's an uncomfortable truth. Your environment isn't just a reflection of your mind. It also shapes it. Think about someone like Steve Jobs. Do you think his success was just luck? That his mind didn't play a crucial role? His obsession with simplicity wasn't just an aesthetic preference. It was a mental strategy. His office had only the essentials: a lamp, a chair, a clear desk. Not because he liked emptiness, but because he understood that external noise creates internal noise. If your space is full of distractions, so is your mind. The simpler your environment, the more clarity you have to think, decide, and create. And the Stoics understood this centuries ago. Eliminate the unnecessary and you will find the essential. To them, external chaos wasn't just a visual inconvenience. It was a reflection of internal disorder. Seneca was a perfect example of this. He didn't just preach self-sufficiency. He lived it to the letter. Do you think he had piles of clothes he never wore? A collection of mugs that said, "Just one more coffee and I'll conquer the world"? A drawer full of cables for devices that didn't even exist anymore? Spoiler: no. To him, unnecessary things were a burden, not just physically, but mentally. He knew that the more you accumulate, the more noise you create in your mind. And if your mind is filled with things that don't add value, how do you expect to find clarity? Now tell me, my friend, what does your space look like? Maybe your room looks like a thrift store, clothes piled in every corner, a chair buried under weeks of jackets. Or maybe your desk is a battlefield, tangled cables, forgotten papers, and a coffee mug with leftover liquid from 2 days ago. Maybe your home has the TV running in the background all day, your phone buzzing non-stop, and a pile of stuff you plan to organize someday. But that day never comes. And then you wonder why your mind feels overwhelmed, why you can't focus on anything, why every small problem feels like too much. Your environment programs you, conditions you, shapes you. If everything around you is chaotic, your mind will be too. And without realizing it, that defines how you think, how you feel, and what you do every single day. So, do you want to design the perfect environment to build a strong mind? First, declutter like a Stoic. Ask yourself, does this add value, or is it just taking up space? If it doesn't serve a purpose, get rid of it. Keep only what truly benefits you. Second, create focus zones and rest zones. Don't mix everything in one place. If you work from your bed, your brain will never know whether it's time to be productive or time to sleep. If your living space is full of distractions, don't expect to find clarity there. Third, make your environment work for you. If you want to read more, put books where you can see them. If you want to exercise, keep your workout shoes ready. Design your space so that what you want to do is the easiest and most automatic option. Because in the end, your environment shapes your mind. So tell me, my friend, what is your space turning you into? Let us know in the comments. What will be your first step in getting rid of everything that no longer serves you? Lesson 21. Breathe before you lose it all. Have you ever felt like the world was crashing down on you? An argument at home, an urgent email, some bad news, and suddenly your chest tightens, your hands shake, and your mind races like a wild horse. In those moments, it's not you making decisions, it's the chaos taking control. And all because of something that seems ridiculous. You don't know how to breathe. Yes, I know. You've been breathing since the day you were born. But breathing automatically is not the same as breathing consciously. Most of the time, you breathe fast, shallow, and from the chest. Your body takes that as a danger signal. You switch into survival mode, as if a tiger were chasing you, when really, it's just a work email. Ask yourself this. How many bad decisions have you made in the heat of the moment? How many words have you thrown in an argument that you later regretted? In those moments, it wasn't the situation that beat you. You gave up your power because you didn't know how to pause and breathe. The Stoics didn't talk about breathing the way modern science does, but they practiced its essence. Epictetus taught that it's not events that disturb us, but how we interpret them. And tell me, how can you interpret anything clearly if your body thinks it's under attack? Calm begins in the physical, and the air you let in and out of your lungs is the master key to taking back control. Picture an archer in the middle of battle. If he shoots with a racing pulse, his arrow will miss. He inhales calmly, exhales slowly, and only then releases the string. That moment of control changes everything. You have that same bow inside. Every deep breath is an arrow of clarity that can save you from firing off an irreversible mistake. Look at your daily life. You're stuck in traffic. Someone yells at you from their car. Your first impulse is to shout back. But if you breathe, if you fill your lungs with air before reacting, you realize it's not worth it. Or think of that meeting where someone criticizes you unfairly. If you react instantly, anger takes over. If you breathe, you respond with calm, even with humor. That split-second difference can be the line between looking weak or showing inner strength. Because when you breathe deeply and consciously, you activate your calm system. Your heart rate slows, your muscles relax, your mind regains clarity. What felt like a storm turns into a drizzle. It's like opening a window in a suffocating room. Fresh air rushes in, and suddenly everything feels different. Try it right now. Inhale through your nose for a count of 4. Hold the air for a few seconds. Exhale slowly through your mouth until you're empty. Do it a few more times. Feel the difference? Your body softens, your mind organizes itself, the pressure fades. And this isn't magic, it's biology, serving your calm. But listen, don't wait until you're on the edge of collapse. Train this beforehand. Just like a soldier doesn't wait for war to learn how to use a sword, you can't wait for chaos to learn how to breathe. Practice it daily, even when things are peaceful. That way, when the storm comes, you already have a refuge within you. You can add small gestures to reinforce it. Roll your shoulders as if shaking off an invisible weight. Stretch your arms like you're waking from a deep sleep. Or gently tap your chest as if saying, "I'm here, and I'm in control." These are signals your mind understands, turning your breath into a ritual of power. And look at how the Stoics lived it. Marcus Aurelius started his mornings reminding himself he'd face difficult people, problems, and obstacles. That mental preparation was paired with mastery of his body. What good would it have done to train his spirit if his breathing betrayed him in a crisis? The clarity that made him one of history's most respected leaders started with something simple, not letting chaos rule his inner world. My friend, a strong mind is not one that never faces chaos. It's one that knows how to create calm within it. And that power is in you, waiting in every inhale and every exhale. So the next time the world starts to drag you down, don't yell, don't run, don't argue. Just breathe. Because the one who masters their breath masters their mind, and the one who masters their mind can never be mastered by anyone. Lesson 22. Sacrifice is the price of your greatness. Remember the story we opened this video with? The one about Michelangelo, about the man who spent years shut away, exhausted, with a broken body, painting the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, without even knowing if the world would ever value his work. He understood something that many still refuse to accept. Nothing truly worthwhile comes without sacrifice. And above all, he understood that the path to greatness is often walked alone. No one pushed him, no one carried him. It was just him, face to face with his purpose, who chose to keep going. And now, I want you to think about yourself. Maybe you're also waiting for your path to get easier, for the perfect opportunity to drop from the sky, or for someone to show up and give you a push. But the truth is, nothing important comes without paying a price. Epictetus knew this well. No great thing is created suddenly, and he didn't say that from theory but from experience. He was born a slave, suffered abuse, even lost the use of a leg. And in spite of it all, he chose to keep learning, to keep reflecting, to keep growing. His pain didn't define him. It forged him. The price of his wisdom was suffering, and he paid it without hesitation. My friend, if you truly want to transform your life, you need to ask yourself, what are you willing to leave behind? Make a list, an honest one, no sugarcoating, of everything you're ready to sacrifice this year for your goals. If the list is short, maybe your desire isn't as real as you think. Don't ask, is it worth it? Ask, is it worth my life? If the answer is yes, then keep going, even if it hurts. And when you're full of doubt, remember, every sacrifice you make today is a future version of you thanking you for not giving up. Sacrifice is not punishment, it's an investment. Every time you choose discipline over laziness, you're investing in your growth. Every time you choose silence over validation, you're investing in your character. And every time you choose to walk alone, even when it's heavy, you're investing in your freedom. Remember what Marcus Aurelius said, everything that is worth having comes from effort. And he was right. Letting go of distractions, of people who hold you back, of pleasures that weaken you. It's not weakness, it's strategy. You don't do it because you enjoy the sacrifice. You do it because you know your purpose is worth far more than any momentary comfort. Because in the end, the one who is willing to keep walking alone when the road gets steep is the one who ends up going furthest. If you think about it, everything we've talked about up to now has been about the same thing. Learning to stand on your own, to keep moving forward, to stop needing a push. But there's one more thing, something that often makes the difference between staying stuck and moving beyond. And that is what I want you to understand in this final lesson. Lesson 23. Be grateful or live in scarcity. My friend, listen. The way you see life changes everything. You can wake up every day focusing on what you lack, what you haven't achieved yet, what others have that you don't. Or you can train your mind to see what you do have, how far you've come, and what is in your life today that wasn't there before. The difference between these two mindsets is the difference between living in scarcity or living in fulfillment. And this isn't some modern idea. Marcus Aurelius practiced it nearly 2,000 years ago. In his meditations, he wrote lists of things he was grateful for, and not just for the good things, but also for the difficult ones. He appreciated adversity because it gave him the opportunity to strengthen his character. He was grateful for problems because they trained him to become wiser. His mindset wasn't, "Why is this happening to me?" but rather, "What can I be grateful for today?" The Stoics understood it well. We lack nothing if we stop desiring more. Scarcity isn't always real. Many times it's just mental. If you live with the belief that you always need more to be happy, nothing will ever be enough. If you believe you don't have what it takes to move forward, you never will. Imagine two people living the exact same day. The first wakes up and thinks, "Ugh, Monday again. What a drag. It's freezing. I have so much work piled up. I didn't sleep well. And to top it off, my neighbor is still making noise." He gets up already carrying the weight of the world. The second wakes up and says, "I have another day ahead of me, a new opportunity." The sun is shining. I'm going to enjoy a quiet coffee before starting my day. Let's see what I can improve today. What's the difference? The circumstances didn't change. What changed was the mindset. My friend, you too can build a strong mind if you learn to be grateful for what you have. And here's a practical tip that can transform your daily life. Every morning, write down 3 things you are grateful for. They don't have to be big things. They can be simple. I slept well today. I have food in the fridge. I got a message from someone who cares about me. Why do this? Because your brain is programmed to focus on what's missing, on what could go wrong, on the problems. But if you train it daily to see the good over time, it will change the way it perceives reality. Here's another trick. When something doesn't go as planned, find a reason to be grateful for it. Did your plans get canceled? Be grateful that you now have time to rest. A problem at work? Maybe it was a chance to prove your ability to solve it. It's not magic, it's perspective. So tell me, my friend, do you want to keep living in scarcity? Or will you start training your mind to see the abundance you already have? Remember, gratitude isn't just a nice idea. It's the key to seeing life clearly, to building a strong mind, and to stopping that feeling of always lacking something. Lesson 24. Free yourself from the weight of others' opinions. There's a kind of prison with no bars, yet millions live trapped inside it. The fear of what others might say. And the strange thing is, no one forces us in. We walk straight through its doors every time we hold back a dream for fear of judgment. Every time we change how we speak just to be liked. Every time we hide what we feel so we won't be rejected. We do it because we believe other people's approval gives us value, when in reality, it takes it away. Epictetus warned us with a phrase that, although uncomfortable, is deeply liberating. If you want to make progress, get used to being seen as foolish and stupid. Because as long as your worth depends on someone else's opinion, you're not living your life, you're acting in someone else's play. And the saddest part is that most of the time, you don't even know whose approval you're chasing. Living based on what others might think is like running with an open umbrella on a clear day. It's useless, it slows you down, and it doesn't protect you from anything. Because the heaviest rain doesn't come from the outside, it comes from within. It's that inner voice that keeps asking, what if they laugh? What if they think I failed? What if they don't approve? That voice is the one that truly limits your freedom. As Seneca wrote, "He is a slave who lives to please others." And he was right. When you stop living to please, you begin to move forward with steady steps. You're no longer weighed down by other people's judgment, and every decision starts to feel lighter. The noise stops being an obstacle and turns into a distant echo that can no longer touch you. And in that moment, when you choose yourself over others' opinions, you realize that walking alone doesn't mean you're lost. It's actually the most direct path to getting further. Think of someone who dreams of changing their life, leaving a job, moving to a new place, starting a project. They know what they want, they feel it deeply, but they don't take the leap. Not because they're not capable, but because they're afraid of disappointing their family or being judged by their friends. They spend years living up to others' expectations, and one day they wake up and don't recognize themselves. What stopped them wasn't a lack of courage, it was the fear of not being approved. And that fear, my friend, has destroyed more lives than failure ever could. If you want to break free from that weight, start today. Before making a decision, ask yourself, would I still do this if no one had an opinion about it? If the answer is yes, you're on the right path. Cut through the noise. You don't need a whole choir to validate you, just a few voices that truly care. And most importantly, practice saying no to what doesn't feel right, even if it bothers others. Now tell me, with complete honesty, what decision have you been putting off just because you're afraid of what others might think? Share it in the comments, I'd love to hear your story. Or if you prefer to say it in just one sentence, write, "Today, I walk light." Because once you learn to move forward without the weight of other people's judgment, every step brings you closer to the life you truly want. Lesson number 25. Saying no is a superpower. If there were an app that tracked how many times you say yes in a day, you'd probably be shocked. Yes, I'll handle it. Yes, I'll be there. Yes, it's fine. And by the end of the day, when you finally get a moment for yourself, there's nothing left in the tank. You've spent all your time on other people's commitments. And the strangest part? Almost none of those yeses were really yours. Marcus Aurelius would have said it plainly. If you don't make your own choices, others will make them for you. And once your decisions belong to someone else, so does your life. Saying no isn't selfish. It's clarity. It's drawing boundaries to protect what actually matters. Picture this. You finish an exhausting week. You come home dreaming of a hot bath, a book, maybe just an early night. Then a message pops up. Dinner tonight with everyone? You're coming, right? And there you are, staring at the screen, feeling that familiar pull of guilt. You type, "Sure, see you then," even though the last thing you want is to go out. And then comes the self-blame, because you know that yes didn't come from your true self, but from the fear of disappointing someone. The Stoics understood the importance of choosing with intention. Epictetus repeated it often. What's within your control is your judgment and your decision. If you give those away, you've given away everything. Every time you say yes to something you don't want, you give up your own inner command. And don't think this is just a modern problem. The need to please, to avoid discomfort, has always existed. Seneca wrote that many people lose themselves trying to please others and forget to live their own lives. He knew that the automatic yes is an invisible chain tying you to someone else's will. But here's the liberating part. Every conscious no is really a yes to something more important. Say no to that night out you don't want, and you're saying yes to your rest. Say no to that obligation that's not yours, and you're saying yes to your peace. Say no to the noise, and you're saying yes to your clarity. Every well-placed no is actually a powerful affirmation. So let me ask you, do you want to become someone who uses no as a shield instead of carrying it like a burden? Start with something simple. Buy yourself time. You don't have to answer immediately. When someone asks for something, breathe and say, "Let me think about it and get back to you." That little space, even just a few seconds, lets you choose from calm instead of pressure. Another tool? Have your go-to phrases ready. It might sound odd, but it works. If you always fall into the same auto-yes trap, practice responses like, "Right now I can't commit to that," or "Thanks for thinking of me, but I'll have to pass this time." It's easier to say no when the words are already there, rather than scrambling for a polite excuse. And most of all, remember your most important yes. Because here's the truth, you're never saying no in isolation. You're saying it to protect something. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's your time. Maybe it's your peace or your personal project. Every time you say yes to everything others want, you're saying no to what truly matters. And if you don't protect what's essential, who will? Even the greats understood this. Warren Buffett put it bluntly. The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. Not because they don't care, but because they know their time is limited and their energy must align with what matters most. My friend, saying no isn't rejecting the world. It's choosing to live your life instead of someone else's. It's a superpower few dare to use, because it takes courage. Courage to disappoint when necessary. Courage to stand by your decision. Courage to understand that your peace matters more than someone else's approval. So next time you feel pressured to say yes out of guilt or obligation, remember this. You don't owe anyone more than you owe yourself. And learning to say no is one of the most freeing things you can practice. In the end, it's not about saying no to everything. It's about only saying yes to what adds value. Because a strong mind doesn't live trying to please everyone. It lives in alignment with what it knows is essential. And right there, in that clear boundary, is where your real freedom lives. Lesson 26. Nature is your invisible gym. Imagine spending years living in a room with no windows, just screens, city noise, and a clock that won't stop reminding you. You're always late. Late for work, late for your commitments, late for yourself. How could your mind not be exhausted when it never breathes fresh air? Now imagine how a Stoic would handle it. Marcus Aurelius didn't let himself get trapped in that invisible box. He looked to the sunrise for clarity and reminded himself of his duty to move forward, no matter how loud the world got. For him, nature wasn't an escape. It was a reminder of order and strength. Today we live so closed off, we've forgotten what it means to be part of nature. Everything is solved through a screen. Everything is rushed. Everything feels like time is chasing us. And what's the result? Tired, anxious minds, trapped in a storm that never stops spinning. Psychologists call it nature deficit disorder. But you don't need a study to know it's real. Just look at how you feel after an entire day glued to your phone, comparing yourself to others, jumping from app to app. Your body's still, but your mind is racing non-stop. The Stoics had a completely different relationship with the natural world. For them, it wasn't a weekend luxury. It was a reminder of who we are. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the sunrise, observing how the sun fulfilled its duty every day without needing to be asked. Seneca warned that living in constant comfort is like living only half a life. Nature was their school of resilience, calm, and discipline. Think about what it means to walk in the rain without rushing for shelter, or to feel the winter chill on your face and accept that the wind is part of the experience. That's nature too, and that strengthens you. Because if you can't handle a drop of rain, how are you going to handle the real storms of life? Ask yourself this: when was the last time you went out for a walk with no headphones, no distractions, just walking? Maybe you can't even remember, but try it. Put on comfortable shoes, turn off your phone and walk, even just 10 minutes. Watch how your mind begins to shift. You don't need music to fill the silence or a screen to distract you. Nature does the work for you. The next time your mind feels foggy, instead of starting another episode, go outside and look at the sky. Even if it's from your window or a nearby park, just a few minutes is enough for your brain to get the message. Not everything is noise. There is still calm. Nature doesn't compete with you. It doesn't demand anything. It simply shows you how real power works. Slow, steady, patient. The river doesn't need to rush to carve the stone. The tree doesn't need to hurry to grow. Everything happens in its time. And when you're in contact with that, you learn how to let go of the anxiety that eats you alive. My friend, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you need to move to a cabin in the woods. I'm saying, remember that you're part of something bigger than your office and your phone. Step outside every day, even for a few minutes. Watch how the light fades. Listen to how the wind shifts. Feel the ground beneath your feet. That alone is enough to remind you that you're alive, and your mind needs space to breathe. Seneca said it best: to live always in comfort and pass through life without hardship is to ignore half of nature. He wasn't just talking about beautiful landscapes. He meant the effort of facing the cold, the heat, the unpredictable. Because every time you accept what nature gives you, you're training your character. And you? When was the last time you gave yourself a real breath in nature? Tell me in the comments. I want to hear from you. And if you want to declare it loud and clear, write, "Today I choose the nature that strengthens me." Next time you feel weak, don't look for the answer in another screen. Look for a tree, a river, the open sky. That's the invisible gym where strong minds are built. And believe me, the more you go there, the more ready you'll be for whatever comes. Lesson 27. Learn to be at peace with yourself. Marcus Aurelius had a habit that very few today dare to practice. He sought moments of silence even in the middle of the empire's chaos. He didn't need to escape to the mountains to find himself. He did it right there, in the heart of the palace, surrounded by advisors, noise, and responsibilities. In his meditations, he left behind a phrase that still serves as a powerful guide. Man takes refuge in the countryside, by the sea, or in the mountains. But the greatest refuge is within his own soul. And he was right. If you don't know how to be well with yourself, no company will ever fill your emptiness. Most of us, my friend, run from that encounter. We fear silence because in silence there are no distractions, no masks, no excuses. It's just us, and whatever we've been avoiding for far too long. That's why we fill every moment with noise, social media, plans, conversations, screens. But if you're always running from yourself, how will you ever truly get to know who you are? I don't know if you've noticed, but being alone is like walking into a house that's been closed up for years. At first there's dust, it's dark, and the echo unsettles you. You want to run away. But if you stay, if you open the windows and let the light in, you start to recognize every corner. And that place that once scared you starts to feel like home. The same thing happens with you. Once you learn to be at peace in your own company, you stop needing crutches to hold yourself up. The Stoics saw solitude not as punishment, but as training. Epictetus said true freedom comes when your peace of mind doesn't depend on others. And to get there, you have to learn to live with yourself without constantly chasing distractions. Only then can you develop the self-control that allows you to act with clarity, without being dragged around by noise. Because respect isn't earned by shouting or forcing authority. It's communicated from the calm of someone who knows themselves and trusts their own judgment. Think about yourself for a moment. How often do you feel like you always need to have something planned? That Sunday when, if no one's around, you keep checking your phone or looking for any excuse to go out. Not because you feel like it, but because the silence makes you uneasy. I get it, it happens to most of us. But try something different. Go for a walk without headphones, sit and have a coffee on your own. Let silence be your company for a while. At first it feels strange, almost uncomfortable. Then comes the surprise, and after that, a feeling of freedom you hadn't noticed before. You realize it wasn't solitude that scared you. It was facing that part of yourself you'd been avoiding for too long. And that's exactly when real growth begins. You can start today with something simple. Spend a few minutes each day without any stimulation. Do important things alone, from making decisions to enjoying a walk. And ask yourself honestly, what part of me am I avoiding? Seneca once wrote, "He who is enough for himself will never be poor." And he was right. Because once you learn to be okay with yourself, you no longer need anyone to complete you or fill your gaps. From that place of inner peace, relationships stop being a need and become a free choice. And it's exactly in that moment, when you understand you can walk alone, that everything shifts. Your steps become more grounded, your decisions more genuine, and your path clearer. Because someone who feels whole on the inside doesn't walk hoping to be accompanied. They go further, because they're no longer afraid to walk alone. Lesson 28. Stay true to your habits, even in silence. Have you noticed how sometimes we act like children who only do their homework when someone's watching? The moment no one's around, we slow down, we put things off, or we leave them for later. And the Stoics already saw this as a sign of weakness. If your commitment depends on other people's eyes, then it's not virtue, it's performance. Think of someone who only trains when the coach is watching. While they're being observed, they give it their all, perfect reps, focused expression, best attitude. But the moment the coach looks away, they ease up, stop pushing, and fall back into comfort. Maybe that'll get them a few small wins, sure, but they'll never go far. Because sooner or later the noise fades. There are no more messages cheering you on, no one asking how it's going, no one congratulating you for sticking to the path. It's just you, your goal, and the temptation to give up because it feels like no one cares. But right there, in that exact moment of silence, is where your true nature shows. Because anyone can stay consistent with applause. Only those who walk alone keep moving when there are no witnesses. Marcus Aurelius never wrote his meditations with the idea of publishing them. They were personal thoughts, private reflections he probably never imagined would one day change the world. And yet, nearly 2,000 years later, they continue to guide millions. That's the power of what you do without an audience. Even in the shadows, it can light the way for others. Epictetus used to say that self-mastery is the highest form of freedom. And that kind of freedom isn't born on a stage or built in front of a crowd. It comes from the small decisions you make each day when no one's watching. From that moment you got out of bed even when your body begged for rest. From that night when you kept your word, even though no one would know. From every quiet choice that brings you closer to who you want to become. Maybe you also find it hard to stay strong when no one's looking, and that's exactly where the real training begins. You don't need to change your whole life. Just start with what matters most. Build small routines that don't rely on motivation, only on commitment. And when that moment comes when you feel like giving up because no one will notice, try this little mental trick. Imagine Marcus Aurelius watching you from his desk, silently judging whether you're being true to your purpose or just performing when there's an audience. Believe me, that image might push you more than any motivational speech ever could. Celebrate the wins no one sees, the ones that seem insignificant, but in truth shape your character. And above all, do everything with excellence, even if there's no thank you waiting at the end. Because if your effort stays the same with or without an audience, you've crossed the threshold of ordinary habits and stepped into the realm of true discipline. Remember what the philosopher Maria Zambrano wrote, "The wise man is the same in darkness as in full light." And she was right. Because discipline, my friend, is like the beat of a distant drum. At first, no one hears it, there's no applause or recognition. But you keep marching to that rhythm over and over, never skipping a beat. And without realizing it, that steady pulse becomes the foundation of your strength. If your habits stay strong even when no one's watching, the world can shake around you, and you'll still keep walking, steady and focused, without stopping every time the road grows quiet. Because the one who walks alone, without waiting for applause, is the one who ends up leaving footprints that last forever. Lesson 29. Do it now, or you never will. My friend, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but it's not your lack of talent that's holding you back. It's not your lack of resources either. What's really keeping you stuck is something much simpler. You're still waiting for the perfect moment, and while you wait, time slips away. How many brilliant ideas have died in your head because they never made it from thought to action? How many plans are still buried in notebooks, in phone notes, in phrases you repeated to yourself as if one day they'd magically come true? The truth is harsh. What you don't do today, you rarely do tomorrow. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Stop debating what a good man should be one." That short phrase says it all. Less thinking, more doing. It's useless to talk about your plans or imagine them if you never bring them to life. Kafka knew that truth firsthand. For years he hesitated, procrastinated, waited for inspiration to show up. But the perfect moment never came. So he made a decision. He'd write every night after long hours at work, even when he was tired, even when he didn't feel like it. Thanks to that discipline, we now have works that are still alive more than a century later. His secret wasn't waiting for motivation. It was choosing to move. And you? What are you still putting off? How many "I'll start tomorrow" have turned into weeks or months lost? The hard truth is this: while you delay, life doesn't wait. Seneca summed it up in a brutal phrase: while we delay, life passes. And that should sting, because it's exactly what's happening when you let your dreams gather dust. Action is what separates those who build their path from those who just daydream. Epictetus put it in the form of a question that should shake you. How long will you wait before you demand the best from yourself? That's not gentle advice, it's a direct challenge. Because while you wait for motivation, for the perfect moment, for the ideal opportunity, life keeps moving. And the only thing that truly gets you closer to what you want isn't your intentions, it's your steps. Think of it this way: your life is like a car sitting still at the top of a hill. If you leave it parked, it feels heavy, stuck, almost impossible to move. But the moment you push just a little, the wheels start to turn. And with every meter, momentum makes it easier. That's you in front of any goal. At first, it feels impossible. But once you break inertia, everything gets lighter. So how do you break it? Start small. If you want to read more, don't wait for an hour of free time. Open the book and read 2 pages. If you want to work out, don't think about running a marathon. Just go for a 5-minute walk. If you want to write 1 sentence. It might feel ridiculous, but it's the start that matters. Once you're in motion, your own energy multiplies. Another secret? Prepare the terrain. If you want to work out tomorrow, lay out your clothes the night before. If you want to eat better, fill your fridge with what nourishes you. Make starting so easy your brain has no excuse left. And if you still hesitate, commit to someone. Say it out loud. Write it down. Announce it. When you do, your brain registers it as a contract, and no one wants to be the one who talks big but never follows through. My friend, stop waiting for inspiration. Stop waiting for motivation. That comes after. Never before. The spark is lit by action. And every day you delay is a train pulling away without you, and it won't come back. So do it today. Take 1 small, real step, because no one will remember you for what you planned, only for what you did. And I want you to share it with us. What step are you going to take today to stop postponing? Tell me in the comments. This community is here to support one another. And if you want to declare it with strength, write, "Today I start, no excuses." That's how we'll know you're one of those who take action, not just talk about it. I won't lie to you. There will be moments when the road feels too long, when the silence weighs heavier than you expected, and you'll feel like turning back. But that, right there, is the moment your strength is tested. Because walking alone isn't about proving anything to anyone. It's about building a future that only you can see right now, but that one day will speak for itself. Every step you take in solitude brings you closer to a place most people never reach, simply because they never dared to take that step. And if this video stirred something inside you, I want you to do one thing. Leave this phrase in the comments as a promise to yourself. I walk in silence, but I will go far. The fact that you've made it to the end says a lot about your commitment to yourself. And that's what builds real strength, day by day. Subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you know someone who needs this message, share it with them. Click the videos on screen and let's keep walking this path together.